Now, Chloe Smith, the new MP for Norwich North, has secured her first adjournment debate in the House of Commons. Ms Smith will be speaking in the Commons about now as she's using the debate to emphasise her support for the proposed Norwich Northern bypass. Now, despite opposition from local critics, she says the road will remove thousands of cars from the city centre and the suburbs and allow for greener transport choices.
One of the most comprehensive collections of Norwich City Football Club memorabilia will go under the hammer next week. Former Lord Mayor of Norwich and avid Canaries fan Roy Blower has spent a lifetime building up the collection. Now it's reached over 1,000 items ranging from shirts to programmes and even a team wage slip. Now then, were you blown away by those wins today? Well, even royalty had to contend with the weather.
But it didn't deter the crowds or the Queen or Duke of Edinburgh, who were in Cambridge here to mark a series of special occasions. Matthew Hudson was there too.
A hat-trick of anniversaries brought the Queen to Cambridgeshire today, and Her Majesty had to hold on to her hat as the fen winds howled for her arrival at Ely Cathedral, her first engagement of the day. So the Duke of Edinburgh, who'd arrived moments earlier, took on the job of chatting to some of the large, expectant crowd, many of them children from local schools.
They have been so excited. We learnt all about the Queen and her duties yesterday, and half of them I shouldn't think have had any sleep at all last night.
The cathedral has been a landmark on the fen skyline for 900 years now. A royal visit marked another high point in a year full of celebrations.
We've spent the whole year celebrating our 900th anniversary, and many of the parishes have taken part in a whole variety of ways. It started with the Archbishop of Canterbury coming at the beginning, and now we have the Queen today and the Archbishop of York on the next 2 days.
From Ely, it was on to Cambridge University, which is celebrating its 800th anniversary. The royal couple lunched at the world-famous King's College. Hundreds more well-wishers waited patiently outside to catch another glimpse as they emerged.
The Queen was last here 2 years ago, and then 2 years before that. But Prince Philip is the Chancellor of the university, and is such a very active Chancellor. He's here several times a year, is always very engaged with the university, always very interested.
Next stop, the Senate House, where Prince Philip donned his official robes as Chancellor of the university. Inside, the Queen witnessed the sealing of the last of 100 letters which have been written by people from all over the university. They'll be kept in the archives and opened in 100 years' time to give an insight into life in 2009. The Queen's final engagement was at Marshall Aerospace, one of the city's most prestigious companies, but a relative newcomer at just 100 years old. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News, Cambridge.
Well, next, can you remember the excitement? It was exactly 15 years ago today that Noel Edmonds hosted the first ever live national lottery draw.
We've already met some of the millionaires that the lottery has created since, but tonight we look at how we've all benefited.
You see, since 1994, more than £23 billion has been raised for good causes. Natalie Gray's been looking at how much of it has come to this region.
Over £35 billion has been paid out in prize money since that first lotto draw 15 years ago today. But it might surprise you to know that an average of £25 million a week goes to good causes, making the National Lottery and its players the world's biggest philanthropists. The biggest grant, a stonking £600 million, bought the Millennium Dome, now the O2 Arena in London. But the lottos also help pay for the Angel of the North in Gateshead and even the upkeep of Hadrian's Wall. But what about here in the East? Well, we've benefited to the tune of £1.3 billion, thanks to a staggering 23,500 grants. Here's some of them. The Marston Vale Millennium Country Park in Bedfordshire got £2.5 million. It's spread out over 250 hectares and is a magical, quiet space away from the hustle and bustle of nearby Milton Keynes.
The Forest of Marston Vale is one of 12 community forests in England, and they're all in areas of industrial degradation of some sort in and around towns and cities. And the idea is to regenerate that area using trees and woodlands and engaging with local people.
£3.6 million has gone to Sutton Hoo, the ancient burial ground of the Anglo-Saxon kings near Woodbridge in Suffolk. One was buried in a ship complete with a wealth of artefacts of outstanding historical and archaeological significance. £13.3 million has gone to the Churchill Archive Centre in Cambridge, home to over 570 collections of personal papers, from childhood letters and school reports to his famous wartime speeches. £32.5 million meant Norwich got a new library after the old one was destroyed by fire. The Forum has since become a striking city landmark. Under the Arts and Culture banner, Huntingdon Male Voice Choir got £1,400 to help them celebrate their 35th anniversary. 16 windmills like this one at Polker's Mill near Reedham Ferry has benefited from over £2 million of lottery money, and an additional £7 million has gone on revitalising traditional skills like sedge cutting and mill writing. And £14.6 million meant East Anglia's biggest swimming and sports centre was able to be built in Norwich. Sports Park is also home to the Norwich Synchronised Swimming Club, which is in itself lottery funded.
We got a £14.6 million grant. That was the largest ever been given for a community sports project. We got it in the early days, and that's great, and it's been a fantastic benefit to the city.
But over half of all grants are for £5,000 or less. Though not all are granted, the man who wanted lottery money to build a replica of Star Trek's Starship Enterprise was turned down. Shame. Natalie Gray, Anglia News.